Hey everyone, it's Rodolfo Alvarez, engineer and mindset coach. Welcome back to the channel. If you're watching this, chances are you have procrastinated at least once, or maybe 100 times. But what if I told you procrastination isn't really about being lazy or lacking willpower? What if it's actually about managing emotions, or more specifically, avoiding certain uncomfortable feelings? In today's video, we are going to dive deep into why we procrastinate, but from a completely different perspective. Instead of just calling it a bad habit, I'm going to show you how procrastination is really about emotional regulation, and how understanding this can help you break free from the cycle of delaying tasks. So grab a snack and let's dive in. Procrastination, more than just a bad habit. First, let's get something clear. We often think of procrastination as just a bad habit. It's something we do because we are too lazy or lack self-discipline. And while that might seem true on the surface, there's a much deeper explanation for why we procrastinate. At its core, procrastination is an emotional regulation problem. Think about it. When you put off a task, it's usually because you're trying to avoid a certain feeling that comes with doing it. It's not that you don't want to work, it's that you don't want to feel the anxiety, boredom, fear, or overwhelm that comes with it. And here's the thing, when we procrastinate, we aren't just avoiding work, we're avoiding emotions. How emotions drive procrastination? Let's talk about a few of the emotions that drive us to procrastinate. The first one, fear of failure. How many times have you delayed a task because you're afraid it won't turn out as well? Maybe you're writing a report or creating a project and deep down, you are worried that it won't be perfect. That fear of failure is so intense that it makes avoiding the task seem easier than facing it. 2. Overwhelm. Another huge one, overwhelm. We have all been there. When a task seems too big or too complicated, it triggers stress. Instead of breaking it down, we freeze up. And that emotional freeze is why we turn to distractions. Third, lack of motivation. It's hard to start a task if you are not excited about it. If a task doesn't feel rewarding or engaging right away, the boredom or lack of excitement can be enough to send us running to social media or other distractions. Perfectionism. And then of course, there's perfectionism, the belief that things have to be flawless. If you are constantly worrying that something won't be good enough, it can paralyze you into doing nothing at all. The emotion here is fear. Fear of being judged, fear of not being good enough, and fear of failing publicly. So when we procrastinate, we aren't necessarily being lazy. We are managing emotions we don't want to face. And that's the key here, the emotional avoidance cycle. When we procrastinate, we often engage in a cycle of emotional avoidance. Here's how it works. You feel anxiety, fear, or stress about a task. You avoid it, thinking that avoiding the task will give you some relief. But instead of solving the issue, avoiding the task only makes the feelings grow stronger. Now you're dealing with the guilt and shame of procrastination, and that leads to more stress and more avoidance. It's a never-ending cycle, isn't it? The more you procrastinate, the worse those negative emotions get. And yet, when you finally face the task, you realize that most of those fears and stresses were just exaggerated in your mind. Managing emotions to break the cycle. Okay, so now that we know that procrastination is an emotional management issue, how do we break the cycle? Here are a few strategies that can help you deal with those emotions and get back on track. First, acknowledge your emotions. The first step is to recognize the emotion you're avoiding. Are you feeling stressed, anxious, or bored? Acknowledging that feeling allows you to process it instead of running from it. Second, reframe negative thoughts. If your fear is based on perfectionism, try to reframe it. Instead of thinking, I'm going to fail, tell yourself, I can start and improve as I go. Change your perspective and challenge the fear. Third, break tasks into small steps. When the task feels overwhelming, break it down into smaller, manageable steps. This makes the task seem less intimidating and reduces the anxiety. Every small step you complete helps you feel more confident and less stressed. Fourth, practice mindfulness and self-compassion. Procrastination is often fueled by self-criticism. So, practicing mindfulness can help you manage the anxiety, and practicing self-compassion can help you stop beating yourself up. Remember, you are human, and it's okay to feel those emotions. Fifth, reward yourself. And finally, give yourself small rewards for completing tasks. This helps build a positive emotional connection to finishing tasks, which will eventually make it easier to push through the discomfort. By managing our emotions, we can manage our actions. Before we continue, I just want to remind you, if you are enjoying this content, make sure to hit the subscribe button so you never miss a video. And if you're ready to dive deeper into mastering your habits and emotional intelligence, check out my free masterclasses. I'm offering free resources that dive even deeper into overcoming procrastination, building emotional resilience, and more. Sign up for the masterclasses now. You will find all the details below. Now, let's jump back in. Final thoughts on procrastination and emotional growth. Before we wrap up, let me just say that procrastination doesn't have to be a permanent part of your life. By recognizing it as an emotional regulation issue, you can approach it with more compassion and awareness. You will stop seeing procrastination as a weakness and start seeing it as an opportunity to better manage your emotions and grow. The next time you procrastinate, take a step back and ask yourself, what emotion am I avoiding right now? Then use the tools I shared to face that emotion head on. You will not only get better at managing tasks, but you will also get better at managing your emotions. I hope you found this video helpful. Let me know in the comments what's one emotion you have noticed causing you to procrastinate, and what strategies are you going to try to break that cycle. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.